your sexuality is starting to get to you.
Oh, please.
If I was, I would be. I don't think it's, to me, not the most interesting thing about a person anyway, but I do get frustrated for Deb because I see Deb go, well, this is just crazy.
But it's just wrong. It's like, it's a lie. It's just the bottom line, so it's just offensive. If he was gay, fine, he would say he's gay.
Case because we are learning that Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
Hollywood is on fire today, and this time, it's not because of another blockbuster premiere or an A-list scandal that fizzles out in a week. This one's different. For years, we've watched Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds exchange playful jabs online, keeping fans entertained with their so-called friendly feud. The constant jokes, the social media pranks, and the over-the-top public roasts, it all seemed like harmless fun. But here's the kicker. Hugh Jackman is done playing. No more laughs, no more bromance, no more pretending. Hugh is finally speaking out. And what he's revealing isn't just ugly. It's downright career-shattering for Ryan Reynolds. Because beneath the carefully crafted persona of Hollywood's most lovable funny guy, there's a darker truth that Reynolds has managed to keep hidden. Until now. And if what Hugh is saying is true, Ryan's entire reputation is about to collapse. Ryan Reynolds has spent years building an image as the witty, self-deprecating, and effortlessly cool star everyone wants to work with. The guy who never takes himself too seriously, who makes fun of his own failures, and who somehow always gets away with saying anything because he's just that charming. But according to shocking new revelations, that's all an illusion, because behind the cameras, behind the sarcastic jokes and the Deadpool persona, Ryan Reynolds is someone completely different. Sources now claim that Reynolds is controlling, manipulative, and willing to crush careers, just to get his way. And the worst part? No one dared to speak up. Until now. One of the most disturbing reports about Reynolds' off-camera behavior comes straight from Fox News, where an industry insider just dropped a bombshell about his treatment of a makeup artist.
Ryan Reynolds had to do some reshoots for the movie. His makeup artist was out of the country working. Ryan Reynolds threatened to fire the makeup artist off the rest of the film and the reshoots they had to do, and also said, if you don't come back and do my makeup for these reshoots, you will never work in Hollywood again.
Let that sink in. This isn't just a spoiled actor throwing a fit because things didn't go his way. This is career blackmail. This makeup artist wasn't being difficult. They weren't breaking any contracts. They were simply doing their job, working on another set, like every other professional in the industry. But for Ryan, that wasn't enough. He saw their prior commitment as a personal insult, as if their entire career should revolve only around him. And here's where things get even worse. The studio executives? They couldn't stop him. Fox executives were frustrated. The source continued. But they had no choice. Reynolds had already taken full control of the movie. Think about that. A single actor had so much power that even the studio heads, the people who fund and control these massive productions, couldn't say no to him. And this wasn't just a one-time incident. Reynolds might have cemented his place as a box office king with Deadpool, but what fans don't know is how he destroyed his own director's career just to keep the spotlight on himself. Tim Miller, the man who brought Deadpool to life in the first movie, was mysteriously pushed out before Deadpool 2. For years, fans speculated on what really happened, but now the truth is coming out.
But I think after he got super, super famous from the first Deadpool, then things kind of changed. I think he was like, see, you guys see. And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No.
No.
I would not work with him
that
again,
much.
as if I'm Weasel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
Well, he's right.
It became clear that Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise, Miller revealed in an interview. You can work that way as a director quite successfully, but I can't. Translation? Ryan Reynolds was such an impossible nightmare to work with that the director who literally made him a superstar had no choice but to walk away. The worst part? This wasn't the first time Ryan pulled something like this. Directors, producers, even entire Hollywood studios have struggled to rein him in. But time and time again, His charming, sarcastic, good guy act has been enough to bury the truth, but not anymore, because now Hugh Jackman is done protecting him. For years, Hugh Jackman has been Ryan Reynolds' biggest ally in Hollywood. Despite their endless public roasting of each other, they always seem to have a genuine friendship underneath it all. But behind closed doors, that friendship is long gone. And now, Hugh might be forced to tell the world everything he knows. According to new reports, Jackman is set to be deposed in an ongoing legal battle that involves Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni. Hugh will be deposed if this goes to trial, an insider confirmed. There is no way that he cannot. And here's the kicker. Hugh Jackman knows everything. He knows where all the bodies are buried, so to speak, the source added. He's been around Ryan for years, and now he might be legally obligated to tell the truth about what he's seen. If that happens, Ryan Reynolds' carefully crafted public image might not survive, and he knows it. Between threatening crew members, pushing out directors, and now potentially being exposed in court, Ryan Reynolds' reputation is hanging by a thread. For years, he's maintained the illusion of the lovable Hollywood prankster, the sarcastic but charming star who everyone loves. But if these allegations continue to pile up, if more people like Hugh Jackman start speaking out, that illusion could come crashing down for good, and then Hollywood might finally see Ryan Reynolds' true colors. Hugh Jackman gets caught in Ryan's web. This is where things take a dark turn. Hugh Jackman, the beloved Wolverine, found himself trapped in a toxic work environment, forced to play along with Reynolds' ego-driven antics. See, Deadpool wasn't just a movie for Ryan, it was a personal revenge project. If Deadpool's character was meant to mock someone, then let's just say
of the word bromance is just, it's a platonic relationship between two men. There's no female equivalent to the term bromance. The female equivalent is friends. And so the fact that we need a term to describe two men going out to dinner, I think, is very revealing about what men are allowed or are not allowed to do and how much self-policing there is when it comes to their relationships with.
The entire cast and crew were in on the joke. But here's the thing, Hugh wanted no part of it. He had no personal grudge, no beef with the person being targeted. Yet, because Ryan had taken full control of the project, Jackman had no choice. But to go along with it, his hands were tied. If he refused, he risked being frozen out of Hollywood's biggest superhero franchise. Sources close to Jackman revealed that he was deeply uncomfortable with the entire situation. Imagine being a respected A-list actor and being pressured into participating in what was essentially workplace bullying, disguised as comedy. The tension on set? You could cut it with Wolverine's claws. Ryan's toxic behavior didn't stop. There, if you think Reynolds' bullying was limited to behind-the-scenes drama, think again. His co-stars weren't spared either. Take Morena Baccarin, the talented actress who played the female lead in the first Deadpool movie. Remember how she was almost completely sidelined in the sequel? That wasn't some creative decision. It was personal. According to insiders, Reynolds had a problem with her. He thought she was overbearing, and instead of handling things like a professional, he decided to erase her from the film's promotional materials entirely. A production source even claimed, Ryan thinks she's too much, so he basically grounded her. Let's be real. This isn't just pettiness. This is career sabotage. In Hollywood, publicity is everything. Actors rely on exposure to land new roles. And Ryan, knowing this, used his influence to silence someone he didn't. And Morena wasn't the only one who suffered. Then we have T.J. Miller, who played Weasel in the Deadpool franchise. Unlike Morena, Miller actually spoke out about what really went down on set. And let's just say, he didn't hold back. In a shocking revelation, Miller described how Reynolds would humiliate him in front of the entire crew, not in a fun, playful way, but with a nasty cutting edge. One particular moment stood out. Ryan turned to Miller and sneered, "Yo, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. You do just enough exposition to be funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie." Think about that for a second. That's not a joke. That's not friendly banter.
Let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me. But to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
Well, he's right.
That's pure calculated belittling. Miller went on to say that Reynolds treated him like he was disposable, like he didn't matter. And considering how Ryan allegedly treats people who do matter, that's saying something. This isn't just an ego problem. This is a pattern of using power to silence, to control, and to make sure Ryan Reynolds always comes out on top. And the worst part? Hollywood has let him get away with it for years, but not anymore. Because now, the truth is finally coming out, and this is just the beginning of the downfall of Ryan Reynolds. Bullying. It's one thing to be a superstar, but it's another to weaponize that status to put others down. And Ryan Reynolds? He's made an art out of it. He doesn't just crack jokes. He uses his position of power to belittle, manipulate, and control those around him. And for what? To feed his own ego? To assert dominance over his peers? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. It's toxic as hell. Hugh Jackman has witnessed this firsthand.
What exactly Hugh Hefner said.
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband, and me as his best mate.
Holy shit.
What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
Sir, I have no idea what's happening at all.
While he initially stayed silent, insiders say he's grown increasingly uncomfortable with how Reynolds treats their colleagues. And let's be real, actions speak louder than words. Notice how Hugh maintains strong relationships with many Hollywood professionals, while Ryan keeps burning bridges? That's not a coincidence. People are starting to see through the act. And speaking of bridges being burned, let's talk about a certain former best friend who now wants nothing to do with Ryan Reynolds. Jake Gyllenhaal. From best buddies to cold silence, remember when Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal were inseparable? They did interviews together, praised each other endlessly, and acted like the ultimate Hollywood bromance. Well, not anymore. Something dramatic happened between them, and now Jake won't even acknowledge Ryan's existence. During a recent interview, Gyllenhaal was asked about Reynolds, and his response? Icy. Cold.
Well, I mean, in truth, there was a time in which we were.
And that opportunity has passed.
As everybody knows, Instagram had its way with our friendship.
So who would win in a battle, Mysterio or Deadpool?
Unanswerable. It's unanswerable. So I can't do it.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that?
I have nothing to say to him.
He shut it down completely, refusing to even comment on their so-called friendship. That's not how normal friendships fade. That's deliberate avoidance. So, what went down? The turning point? The movie that ended their friendship? Their K. Fallout likely stems from their time working together on the 2017 sci-fi thriller Life. Before filming, they were inseparable, laughing on set, joking in interviews. But after Life wrapped up, their friendship mysteriously disintegrated, and Hollywood insiders believe they know why. Apparently, Jake saw Ryan's true colors while working with him, and after that, he wanted nothing to do with him. And Jake isn't the only one. Rebecca Ferguson. Another victim of Ryan's toxic behavior. Another Life co-star, Rebecca Ferguson, also had a terrible experience on set. She once spoke in an interview about an unnamed co-star who was, quote, insecure and angry, and all signs point to Ryan Reynolds.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out.
Things got so bad that Ferguson reportedly refused to act with this person whenever possible.
The person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, you call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with, what is this? And I would cry walking.
She didn't drop any names, but let's be honest. The timeline and cast list make it painfully obvious who she was referring to. Hugh Jackman was forced to play along. And now let's circle back to Hugh Jackman, because this man has been through it. that cringeworthy promotional skit for It Ends With Us? You know, the one that had absolutely nothing to do with the actual movie? Hugh was roped into that mess, forced to play along with Reynolds' mean-spirited mockery of Justin Baldoni. In the clip, Hugh delivered lines that were clearly written to humiliate Baldoni. It wasn't clever, it wasn't funny, it was just straight-up bullying disguised as comedy, and Hugh knew it. At this point, it's becoming impossible to ignore the truth. Ryan Reynolds has spent years hiding behind his charming, sarcastic persona. But behind the cameras, behind the jokes, the reality is much, much darker, and Hollywood is finally catching on, because the cracks in his perfect image, they're growing bigger every single day, and soon, the whole facade is going to crumble. For Hugh Jackman, enough is enough. What started as friendly banter has spiraled into something much darker, and now he's trapped in Ryan Reynolds' personal war. During the It Ends With Us fiasco, Hugh found himself in an extremely uncomfortable position, used as a weapon in Reynolds' ongoing vendetta against Justin Baldoni. Imagine this. A movie meant to highlight the serious issue of domestic violence was being completely overshadowed by childish Hollywood drama. And Hugh? He was caught in the middle of it all. A staged PR move that went too far. Adding insult to injury, Hugh was pressured to attend the It Ends With Us premiere, a film he had absolutely nothing to do with, just to publicly show support for Ryan and Blake Lively. Meanwhile, Baldoni, who actually directed the film, was reportedly kept in the basement before the event, arriving early just to avoid interacting with the Reynolds Lively camp. Think about that. The actual director was being pushed into the shadows so the real stars of the show could be Ryan and Blake and Hugh. He was unwittingly complicit in this entire power play. Sources say that after realizing what had really gone down, Hugh deeply regretted his involvement. But things are about to get even worse. The legal battle that could end it all. The final straw? Hugh just found out he might be deposed in the growing legal battle surrounding Reynolds. This puts him in an impossible situation. Tell the truth about Ryan's behavior and publicly end their friendship. Lie under oath to protect him and risk his own reputation. Neither option is appealing. And reportedly, Hugh is furious that Ryan's reckless actions have put him in this position. It's one thing to be part of a Hollywood feud. It's another to be dragged into a legal war. The real Ryan Reynolds, insecure, controlling, and vindictive. What's becoming painfully clear is that the charming, sarcastic Ryan Reynolds we see in interviews is just a carefully crafted persona. Because behind the scenes, insiders describe him as insecure, controlling, and vindictive. And guess who has hinted at this before? His ex-wives, Scarlett Johansson, who has always been classy about their split, has subtly hinted that Ryan was passive-aggressively jealous during their relationship. Alanis Morissette, another ex, didn't hold back at all. After their breakup, she released an entire album reportedly inspired by their toxic relationship, and one of the most telling lyrics? If I just say it's true, I'm unbelievably insecure, really broken, devastated, then I can move through it. Notice the pattern? Everyone close to Reynolds keeps bringing up his insecurity, and that insecurity manifests as controlling behavior and bullying. Is his marriage to Blake Lively part of the pattern? Reynolds seems to target people who might overshadow him. His marriage to Scarlett reportedly fell apart just as her career was skyrocketing. And soon after, he quickly moved on to Blake Lively, who, at the time, was still trying to break out of her Gossip Girl persona. She wasn't an immediate threat to his stardom. But now, with Blake's career growing and her own scandals making headlines, their picture-perfect Hollywood image is cracking. Hollywood is watching and holding its breath now. As Hugh Jackman prepares to potentially testify about Reynolds' behavior, all eyes are on Hollywood. And this couldn't have come at a worse time for Ryan and Blake. Blake is already embroiled in her own PR nightmare with the Baldoni lawsuit. And both she and Ryan are facing similar accusations. Controlling, difficult to work with, manipulative behind the scenes. For years, they have carefully crafted an image as Hollywood's golden couple. But as one industry insider put it, they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle.
Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle. The genie likes to be free, okay? And we're now all paying attention. So I'm just going to very quickly, before I give you all of the tea that I got.
The end of an era, with more and more co-stars speaking out, and Hugh finally breaking free. From Ryan's influence, Reynolds' time as Hollywood's golden boy might be running out. The bromance that once delighted fans? It's been revealed as toxic and one-sided, with Hugh finally seeing Ryan for who he really is. And if Hugh testifies, Reynolds' carefully maintained nice guy facade will crumble faster than anyone could have imagined. So now, the question is, are you Team Hugh or Team Ryan? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this drama is far from over. And trust me, we'll be here for all the updates.